Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today we've got another viewer requested build. So today we'll be building Zion Williamson. So make sure he's a power forward and we'll move on. So for the body settings, I think he's listed at about 6'6", but as a power forward you can't go that short. So I've just gone to the minimum height, which is 6'7", which I think is probably better for 2K anyway. You don't want to be playing power forward at 6'6". 6'7" is probably the lowest you can go and still get away with it. In terms of weight, now obviously yeah, he's a big boy. Even, you know, just purely muscle mass, he's a big boy and he's probably going to weigh a lot more than this, but I found the best weight for the build was 234 pounds. It just gave a good mix of speed and strength as well, and defense. And then wingspan, I'm not sure what his wingspan is, but for this build I've put it at 7'1". That just kept the shooting sort of high enough. Even though he's not a fantastic shooter, he can still get hot. And more importantly, just on defense and finishing, it just kept things still pretty high and not too low, which we'll see in the build. So those are the settings. We'll move on to the attributes. In terms of close shot, we just want to put that to 80. So that will just help, because it's an inside build, it's primarily a finishing build. Having close shots just handy. You know, any backdoor cuts or pump fakes near the rim, you'll still be able to finish as you go up again after you've pump faked. In terms of driving layup, now he's elite at finishing at the rim. You know, he's shooting like 60% from the field or something crazy like that. So driving layup probably should be 99, but it's really hard to make the build balanced and have driving layup that high, because at 99 you unlock, you know, the badges Hall of Fame, pretty much all three of acrobat, fearless finisher, and mouse in the house. You get fearless finisher at 99. Ideally that's what I would like, but in reality I couldn't get it that high. You're not even able to go to 99 with the body settings. So the sweet spot's 89. That's the minimum you need to unlock Fearless Finisher Gold, which I think is an important badge for this build. In terms of driving dunk, obviously, you know, he's already got some bodies in the NBA already. So we need the elite driving dunks, the contact dunks. So to get that, we need 92 driving dunk. That's just, you know, self-explanatory. That's what we need, so we need to put it there. It also unlocks Limitless Takeoff Hall of Fame as well. Which is awesome as well, because obviously, you know, he's got serious hops, and on 2K, you know, Limitless Takeoff just helps get you into a gather a bit earlier for the animations. In terms of standing dunk, now he's a bit of a 2-footed jumper at times. I'd say he's primarily a 2-footed jumper, so we probably need standing dunk reasonably high, and I've gone to 76. At 75 you unlock Rise Up, which is a handy badge to have. Just helps you, increases the likelihood of dunking the ball. And putting it up to 76 just unlocks another badge. So that's the finishing layout. Onto shooting. Now, like I said before, he's not a fantastic shooter, but he can get pretty streaky. He can be pretty streaky. I think he's only about a 33% 3-point shooter. But as we know, even in his debut game a couple of years ago, he hit like 4 threes in a row or something like that. So he can get hot. So I've put it at 80, which gives you the 17 shooting badges. And you should be able to work something out to help you shoot consistently. Most players on the game are pretty good at shooting anyway, and shooting can be pretty overpowered. Even at 83 point, you know, you've got a lot of silver badges here, which you should be able to work with. And you've also got Sniper Hall of Fame at 83 point. So you should still be able to shoot okay, but it's not the primary mode of scoring for this build. In terms of free throw, I think he's only maybe a 70. I'd have to double check that. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but he's not an incredibly good free throw shooter. But I had a couple attribute points left over, and I just bumped the free throw up to 77. So I put it at 77, and that is the shooting done. Now onto playmaking. He doesn't average a heap of assists. I'm pretty sure it's really low. Like it might only be two or three, or even lower. So we won't put his pass accuracy up too high, and you are playing power forward, so it probably doesn't need to be terribly high. But I got it to 76 just to unlock these 7 badges off the bat, and needle threader silver, just to help with, you know, fast break passes, outlet passes, or even, you know, if you get caught trying to drive to the rim and you get, you know, stopped or forced pickup, and you're able to pass maybe to someone else. It will just help. It's just a handy badge. In terms of ball handle, we want to put that to 80. Now, he's not a fantastic ball handler, but he can dribble. You know, he's got to get past players somehow. He generally just trucks through, but he's not getting stripped when he's doing that. So I think 80 is pretty reasonable. It unlocks the 16 badges. Gets your tight handles gold if you like that badge. And 80 will just unlock some animations as well. And speed with ball, we want to put that to 73, which is the max. So that just unlocks downhill Hall of Fame, which can be handy. You know, if you've got a really good centre that's just snagging boards, you may want to get out the back a bit, and having that gold Hall of Fame will just help. As you do only have 73 speed with ball, so it's a little slow. Obviously it's going to be faster than other power forwards and centres that you might come up against, so you'll be able to exploit them with that. But on fast breaks you may get caught by guards and small forwards and things, so the downhill Hall of Fame, if you do put it Hall of Fame, will help with that as well. But that's playmaking. On to defense and rebounding. We want to put interior defense to 65. That just unlocks a couple bronze badges. So defensive leader bronze, brick wall bronze, tallest defender bronze. It's not really for the badges, it's more just for having the attribute there. As you are playing power forward, you still will need to, you know, protect the rim. And just having it 65 is good enough, I think. You are only 6'7" as well. But this is definitely more of a power forward center build. So it's not, you could play small forward with this, but it's probably not the greatest small forward build, just because of the speed's a bit lower. But it's definitely, it's probably just isolated as a power forward. So interior defense probably not as important as it would be for a center. Perimeter defense, on the other hand, as you might be playing small forward or against small forwards at power forward, we probably need this to be pretty high here. Obviously on the court he's not a great on-ball defender, but on 2K I thought this was required to have it pretty high. I got it to 81 just to unlock another badge point, but you get, you know, clamps, silver, man of silver, pick dodger gold, pretty handy badges there. So 81 for perimeter defense. On to steal, and put steal at 72. He actually only averages possibly less than 1 steal a game, I think, so it's not a heap. And on 2K, you probably won't be guarding the ball a heap if you're at power forward. So I think silver pickpocket and silver intercept will be good enough to help strip people trying to run around screens that you may be defending. And then in the passing lanes with silver intercept is probably good enough. So that's steal. Onto block. Now he doesn't average a heap of blocks, but he's a bit of a chase down artist like LeBron is, and he can meet people at the rim just due to his vert and size and absolutely stuff shots. So I decided to put block up to 83, which unlocks the 16 badges and also gets intimidated gold at 81. So 83 is the max, so I recommend putting it to 83. Onto offensive rebound. Now this will get upgraded with defensive rebound, but it does get put to 61 when you put defensive rebound up to 91, which I recommend because it unlocks the gold rebound chaser at 91. That's why we put his wingspan to 7'1" and increased his weight at the expense of speed, but you do get gold rebound chaser, which will help. And you'll see with his vert, you'll still be able to snag a heap of rebounds. He only averages about 7.5, so it's not a heap. But on 2K, you'll still be able to grab boards. I've got a small forward that's like 6'7", and he's got about 75 vert, and I still snag rebounds over centers. So you'll be able to grab rebounds, no worries at all. So that's defense. Onto physical. Now, he is a little slow, but against other bigs, 70 speed and acceleration is pretty quick. You should be able to beat them down the court, from the inbound after a score and maybe get some easy buckets. So yeah, 70 speed and acceleration is good enough for a power forward. In terms of vert, now to unlock the elite contact dunks, we do need 80 vertical. So you do need to have it at 80. And then for stamina, just chuck the rest on stamina for 90 stamina. So in total, we have 28 finishing badges, 17 shooting, 22 playmaking, and 25 defending and rebounding badges for a total of 92. So I've seen a lot of builds that have possibly a couple more badges, but they don't have critical attribute stats like 89 driving layup to get the gold layup badges. They miss out on a lot of defensive attributes as well. Rebounds lower than 91, you don't get the gold rebound chaser. Sometimes their speed and acceleration is really low, or they sacrifice shooting. So this is the most all-round Zion Williamson build I could find that highlights what he does well, but also gives you things in the game that are a must. So I think it's a really balanced build, and 92 badges is a heap. Anything over 90 is really good. So that's the build. We'll move on to takeovers. So I just chose 2 finishing takeovers. He's a slasher, so to me it makes the most sense to have finishing moves. Just helps you absorb and finish through contact on dunks and layups and alley-oops, and then as a secondary, just easy blow-bys just to help get past defenders, because obviously he can just use his size to just blow by defenders. So those would be the 2 I'd go with. And we have built a glass cleaning finisher, shades of Scotty Barnes, Draymond Green and Kyle Kuzma. Bit interesting 3 players there, but I'd say possibly Draymond Green's a little similar, being 6'7". But yeah, they're probably not the greatest, but this is the closest I can get to Zion. So we'll have a look at the badges. So for finishing, the first things we want to do is make sure we have, all the real core finishing badges at least gold. So limitless takeoff, posterizer, fearless finisher. Lob City is definitely one that would, especially if you play a lot of park, you definitely need that. Slither finish is great, especially with your size. Having that gold will just really be great. At 6'7", 6'8", if you can get that gold, it just helps because you are so big. It just helps limit contact. And some other ones, rise up's really handy to have as a big man. You'd be able to dunk on smaller defenders if you're on a small forward that has to play power forward. Mouse in the house because of that as well is great. Fast twitch just to help with dunks under the rim. Grace under pressure when you do a pump fake and you get people in the air, that'll help along with the close shot. And then the last one, unstrippable is great because you will be driving a lot with this build. But acrobat could be something if you do like doing reverses and hop steps and things, if you are good at that. But that would be the badges I would go with. In terms of shooting, now, like I said before, we don't have a heap of really high level badges here, but we've got enough that will help you shoot consistently. So I recommend, just the core ones: catch and shoot, deadeye, hot zone, sniper. And then for the last 4, limitless spot up might just be handy to have silver, just if you don't quite catch it right near the 3-point line, that would be handy. Slippery off ball because you are so big, it would just help run around other, bigs, because you will be playing power forward, so you could come up against centers that have really long wingspans and can just really easily bump you, so that could be handy to have. Or corner specialists to help in the corners, or green machine. So, that they could be some badges that you would look at. In terms of playmaking, just some good, he's not going to be playing like a point guard, a point forward, but it's more to help in isolation. So you probably want isolation badges like quick first step, unpluckable so you don't get stripped. Stop and go might be handy to have if you like that badge. Tight handles is great. Handles for days. Downhill, like I said before, is really handy. And then the rest, you might just want to put some bronze badges on, break starter, dimer, glue hands to help with catches. Hyperdrive on fast breaks, just help with any moves you might want to do. Bullet passer, needle threader, and then the last one, you could upgrade something, or just put it on ankle breaker or something like that. But there's enough there to figure out the badges that you really like and get them as high as you can. So you do have 22 to play with, which is a good amount. Now onto defense and rebounding. So for Zion, I recommend things like pogo stick. You are 6'7", so you're not going to have the reach of other bigs, so you do need pogo stick to help if you do get caught in the air, or you do have to jump a couple times for a rebound. That is handy to have. Rim protect is great, pickpocket, menace is handy, chase down artist, clamps if you are playing on a small forward at power forward. Intercept is handy, box out. Another one's, pick dodger, intimidator, rebound chaser. Your offensive rebound's not really high, so I wouldn't worry about worm. Brick wall's great. Ball stripper could be really good. Off-ball pest just to bump people around. And tireless defender's just great to have. So they would be the badges I would look at. Probably some more so than others, like pogo stick, pickpocket, menace, chase down artist. They just help protect the rim. Clamps you might want to upgrade as well. So those would be the defensive badges. All in all, that's the build. I hope you've enjoyed the video and have a really great day.